Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Anja Simmons. She is a yoga teacher and parenting coach based in Toronto. How are you doing today, Anja?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Brad. Very good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here and share your journey with us today. I appreciate you being here.
Oh, my pleasure. I think what you're doing is fantastic, so I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you agreeing to be part of it. I mean, the more women we get involved in this movement to become part of this collective, the better it is, because the more women we can potentially reach and help. So I appreciate you being here and participating.
Awesome.
So Anja, you're a yoga teacher and a parenting coach, but kind of combine the two. How long have you been a parenting coach?
So the parenting coach has probably, I was looking around to sort of really firm a date. So I'm thinking within the last 3 years, I've been parent coaching. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what exactly does a parenting coach do?
I know, it's kind of a new thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? And there's many different variations. So that we're not therapists. That is definitely something I say to my clients right away, right? I'm not taking that place. There are therapists that are parenting coaches, so you can get a mix, right?
Yeah.
But basically, it's the idea that as a parenting coach, I think we will do it a little differently. I know what my approach is a little different, but the basic outline being that you are trying to support and help a parent in certain situations, right? And I think that to take that even to a bigger scope, some parent coaches are looking more to, and parents reach out with the idea of how do I fix my child, right? Something is going on. How do I, and they reach out for that reason. And my idea, the way which ties in with the yoga and my own raising of my kids, the idea that they actually don't need fixing. They really don't. Let's leave them alone and let's work on our stuff, how we are, what we show up as, what triggers us. The idea that you can't sort of control someone else. Yes, you can set up the environment, right?
Right.
But the idea being that you can't control them, but you can take care of yourself.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into being a parenting coach? And you had just mentioned that you're a mom yourself. So how many kids do you have and how old are they as well?
Yeah. Okay. So I have two, a son and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is 19 and my son is 22.
Okay.
I always think about that and I think, what? How did that happen? How did they become so big? Yeah. And so, so the background being that I was a trained British nanny in England, and then I was a nanny in Europe, and then that's how I got to stay over here. And I had a very set thought about how I would raise my children based on how I helped raise all these other children. Okay. And the switch for me was when I held my little boy in my arms, a lot of my traditional British firmness, strictness, rawness kind of faded away, you know, and it didn't sort of really match up. And so the struggle for me in raising them was really sort of trusting my intuition and not all the noise around me, right? We've all got great advice. Everybody has advice for you. I'm sure you're with your girls, right?
Yeah.
This is what you do. If you do this, this is going to happen, or you must never, you have to. And my struggle was finding my inner voice in the knowing of what is right for each child. Because I have my kids, you having two girls, you probably notice they're very different personalities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it's not a one blanket rule, right? Everybody goes to bed at this time and we all do this, because,
they're two completely different individuals. And different things are going to work for different kids.
Absolutely. And you have to sort of have that in mind.
Yes.
And so getting back to the parent coaching, so I had raised them, which I now know as a conscious parenting way, right? And so then going further forward, I then was a yoga teacher, and I guess my kids were about 5 or 6 as I sort of started the yoga journey.
Uh-huh.
And I just saw how much of yoga comes into parenting in terms of how amazing I felt after my hour and 15-minute class coming out, and how I parented from that place was so different to a normal, anxious, oh my goodness, we've got loads to do kind of place.
Wow.
So that was sort of the tie-in. So still following your question. Sorry, I've gone on a bit of a tangent, but
that's okay.
My concept was actually really building my yoga practice at that point, and my yoga teaching. And so I was teaching little kids 4 or 5 years old all the way up to families and seniors.
Wow.
So I was actually more looking to expand there. Like, what can I do? That was sort of my business approach.
Right.
And I am a big meditator. And so I, listen to what comes through after I meditate, and I'm in this place. And it kept the voice, my thoughts, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Was really about helping mums. And my thought was, I don't really want to be right back in with the children like I had been with nannying. And then it was really like support mums in being who they are still, and not getting lost in motherhood. Because for me, that was a real trip for me, was I got completely lost in motherhood. And that became my life. And then at the end of it all, you're like pretty frustrated with the whole thing, and you've lost who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that was my switch round to sort of say about parent coaching, and then how coming from this place of a yogi with the idea, not that everyone has to meditate. That's not the answer I'm talking about, but it's just when you're in a good place and clear-minded, you parent, your words, everything about you is so different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? As
for sure.
If you come at it from, you're feeling really crappy about your life at the moment, or your day, or something's really
just the hustle and bustle of every day, right? The stresses of every day.
Yeah, and not to be perfect even. I'm far from perfect. You can ask my kids.
I think we could all ask our kids.
Yeah, I'm always like, you want to check out how I parent? But I think it's the idea that we can make some changes. Mm-hmm. And in the conscious parenting world, it's like this idea of what are they here to teach me, right? Yeah. What is it that this beautiful being is here to this with conscious parenting, which I feel like I want to run around the world shouting, this is it. This is what will change our world, everybody.
Yeah.
And it's the idea that we're being raised together.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure from you, there's lessons we take from our kids.
Absolutely.
They're so wise. Even as little people, they'll say things and you go, oh, that's a good idea.
Well, they're a lot wiser than we as adults give them credit for. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
We always say, I can always remember my parents saying to me, or us saying, oh, they won't understand that. They don't get it. It's like, no, they understand a lot more than we think they do.
Yeah. And they have a lot to bring to the table.
For sure.
Really do. And who are we really to decide that we know better?
Yeah. Very true.
Right.
Very true. Yeah.
And not in terms of course there's guidelines. Of course we're not talking about these kids running wild and we're just like, oh, well, one day.
No. Yeah,
right? People think of it more that way, whereas I'm saying together, right? Like it's a teamwork.
Yes.
They raise you as you raise them, and you work with the individual child. And there's a lot more work involved with that than staying in your thoughts of like, well, my parents did this to me, so I'm going to do it to them.
That's right.
Right? It's a beautiful way of evolving. It's a beautiful way of learning. It's hard work because you got to go deep and you got to say, wow, why does that really piss me off? Like, what is it about this situation that really is bothering me? And it's my work, not my kid to fulfill me, right? That's my work.
That's right. How long have you been a yoga teacher?
So a yoga teacher for 11 years, over 11 years now. Yeah, I'm practicing before that, but that was when my training was.
Okay. And what attracted you about becoming a yoga teacher?
Well, I had started taking yoga classes. So it was like a one class a week for maybe about 4 or 5 years. And that started the journey for me of I was so out of my body. I was in my head only. My body was just sort of a byproduct of life, right?
Yeah.
And through taking with this wonderful teacher, these yoga classes, I started to see how I was changing.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, my son, he was grade 1, I think.
Yeah.
And he was a very anxious little fella, in general, from birth, actually.
Okay.
And my yoga teacher was then teaching kid classes. So he had gone into he was amenable to me at that point. So he thought yoga was fine. Not so much now. Yeah. And anyway, so he started classes, and the transformation, Brad, was freaking amazing. From really simple things that he would be so anxious about in school. Like, he's quite an odd little fella. And, from changing classrooms, say, he would find that really anxious. Like, he'd be like, what is going to happen? What's happening?
Yeah.
And one day he came home and he said, Mom, they taught me this breath. I don't think he even probably called it like that, but this thing you do when you get worried. And he said, and I did it, and I felt so much better.
Huh.
I was like, wow, how come the world doesn't know about this, right?
Yeah.
So that was sort of the beginning path, that my journey, his journey. And then I thought, I didn't need teacher training in terms of with children, because I've done loads of work with children and the nanny, but I wanted to know more about, what is this thing, yoga? What is it, right? It's not really just touching your toes. Imagine that, Yeah. And so that was then my reason to go into it and to learn more about what it was about.
Very cool. So how did you decide to combine the two services? Because I wouldn't think that's a very common thing to come up with, to combine yoga services and yoga teaching and parenting coaching. So how did you decide to combine the two and come up with the idea to start a business to help busy parents?
Yeah, really by chance, because I realized it's so funny, right? Because when you know, and before that you're just like, oh, I have no idea. How am I going to, and then it kind of clicks. I realized that in my coaching anyway with parents, I was talking constantly or teaching them or helping them to find these breathwork or meditations or yoga nidra. And it was becoming such a part of my coaching anyway. Right. It was more, it just evolved. It just sort of happened that way, that the tools that I had used as a parent, or the tools that I have taught in yoga classes, they really go amazingly well with parenting, from being, this simple mountain pose in yoga, which is kind of like just standing. You're just a little more set, right? You're aware of your feet, you're aware of your head. So if you're about to come into a room and you are really all over the place, if you can, put your hand on your heart, your hand on your belly, find your breath, find your feet, and take a moment and then enter the room, what different energy are you bringing in? Rather than running in and going, oh, but why is everybody made a mess? We have people coming, like all this, which is life, right? And so that's really how it evolved. It was just kind of something that kept sort of bringing in. And for many parents, how do I be more patient? How do I be more, I think I'm going to be all relaxed and I'm really angry, Yeah,
and so patience is key being a parent. That's for damn sure.
It is true. And it's so hard because we have a life. We have our own stuff.
Yep.
So that was kind of definitely sort of evolved into that, and has grown from that point.
Right. Now, you've trained as a British nursery nurse, then became a nanny in England, Switzerland, and now Toronto. What made you decide to train as a British nursery nurse?
So that's many years ago. I must think back. No, I had always loved little kids. I was the town babysitter. You know,
Okay.
I grew up in a small town in England, and I just knew that I wanted to sort of work with children, I guess. And so that's kind of was a natural step. Back then it was very, maybe it still is, I don't know, but very common to sort of become a nanny.
Okay.
With sort of something that we could do. And for me, I loved the idea of traveling. And this was a job that you could totally do that with.
Okay.
So it combined all of that. And it was actually the first time I really didn't like school, and then going to this, sounds funny to call it a nanny course, but going into because it's like the ECE, early childhood education. So it's nannying, but it's really sort of knowing the child's development and ages and stages and things to do and all of this.
Right.
I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. Like suddenly I realized what kind of a student I could be.
Yeah.
What I had been like at school. So yeah, it was definitely something that felt aligned with me.
Okay. So what do you love most about your career?
I love my mamas. I love really helping and supporting mamas right where they're at, to know that they're not alone, and that there's another way or there's another option, and they know it. When they get still and quiet, they'll know what's right. They don't have to be in fear and in expectation, and to help encourage them to be brave enough to make those choices. And I love it, the feedback and somebody saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. It's kind of like I feel like I wrap up this poor mama in my arms, you know, and sort of say, it's okay. I get you. I know where you're at. I know, and it's so hard. It's so entwined and difficult and hard, because I would say, you know, majority of us come into parenting wanting to be a good parent. And then this little person has an opinion, and this little person is not following the script that we had in our head, you know? So that I really love being a catalyst for change, I think, in a mum's life.
Yeah.
Wow, it's fantastic.
Now, you also love to host yoga retreats in the mountains of Switzerland, I read. So how does that all work logistically when organizing these retreats?
Okay, so this was a little different because it was my mum's place. So I'm Swiss, hence the name Anja. But she had a place up in the mountains, and so we would, I guess, probably about 10 years ago, she had it, and it was more just a case of, this place is the most magnificent place. How can you not have yoga here? So it kind of started from there.
Just a majestic location, right?
Oh, yeah. In the mountains, like you do mountain pose. I was talking about, you got your feet looking at a mountain, you know, you got your feet grounded in the grass. You've got mountains around you, water around you. And so really it started from there. And then we started to offer it. And at one point my mum and I did them. And then, and we had people from Egypt, people from England, from Canada. And it was very small. We only had, I think tops was 6 women. Yeah. So it was very intimate. People found their way. And it was logistically kind of nuts for them, because you do end up having to take a bus up the mountain, which is like a roller coaster ride. It's in the Italian part of Switzerland, and the Italian bus drivers, you know, drive like crazy up at the mountain because they're so used to it, and you're like, there's a whole edge here. Awesome. So it was great, but people did it. We had some people come a couple of times because it was just a week of tuning out, right?
Amazing.
Being finished. Yeah. And my mum actually, fortunately sold it last year.
Oh, okay.
So,
no more yoga retreats in the Swiss mountains.
Not in there, yeah, but we are looking for another location, and I have run Mama's Day off here in Toronto as a one-day retreat. And I'd like to, you know, find a great place to keep going, because I love that. That was fun.
Well, I don't want to say the word disappointment, but when you're speaking about the mountains in Switzerland to Toronto, that's a huge scale down.
Yes, it's a definitely different adventure, but there's some beautiful places in Canada that I
For
think
sure, absolutely.
right?
There's majestic places in Canada too, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
How long have you been running yoga retreats?
So there in Switzerland was 9 years.
Okay.
We ran them. Yeah, this is actually my first year ever not going to Switzerland.
Wow.
Because my mum and my sister are both there. And yeah, that was 9 years. And the Mama Day Off, the more local ones, was 3 years.
Okay. All right. What are some of the challenges you faced early on in your business, and how'd you overcome them?
So I think the biggest one that I'm not sure if I've totally overcome it, actually. I think it's an ongoing process, was a couple of things. One, that convincing mamas that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
Right? To be vulnerable enough. That's quite vulnerable. We all feel pretty protective of our parenting. And it feels like, this crazy world has just said you should know how to parent.
Yeah.
And then you realize, well, even me as a trained nanny, I still didn't have training for having my own child, and then two of them.
Well, so it's not, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, good.
Just brought something to mind. It's like when our children are born, it's not like we walk out of the hospital and they hand us a manual and say, here you go. This has everything in it that you need. You're out, here's your child, see you later, there's the door, and figure it out yourself. I mean, of course we have family and friends to lean on, but as you had said earlier, that everyone's an expert and everyone wants to give you their advice too, right? So
yeah,
it's a difficult thing. Parenting has got to be the most difficult job in the world.
I agree. I fully agree, because we want to be good at it. And
yes.
We're not often, right? We're not. Like I can do my meditation and relaxing, and then I come down and I want to go, oh, bloody hell, like why is nobody, and I'm like, oh, how did that happen so fast? I was in a good space, right? So I think letting mums know that this trusting of our own intuition is so powerful. And when we all know, I mean, it's not excluding fathers, you're a big part of parenting too, but my work I've only ever had one father, mum and dad be involved. So that seems to be where I'm at. But when you have this trust of your intuition, and we have our natural mama bear instincts, right? Somebody does something to us, we're like, whoa, rise up. And, there's a lot of support we need around those things.
For sure.
And support in not fixing problems, but working with, say, for example, I had this one client whose son, I think he was 3. Anyway, he kept hitting and biting. And she's horrified, and the family's horrified, and the family are all giving all these ideas of, well, you need to be stricter. He needs to be punished, blah, blah, blah. Right. Anyway, when we peeled it back, you sort of look at, what is this? Like, what is he trying to say? He's a little fella. He's not not naughty. This is just how he's responding. We worked through some ideas and things, and it worked out, she wasn't spending so much time with him. His schedule had changed. Hers had changed. I think she'd had another baby, and he was just feeling a little lost. And just a simple little tweak like that she could have that awareness and kind of help him out, right, was enough to sort of change the dynamics in your mind, to sort of say, okay, let me step back, let me trust, and then let me, work through. Yeah. So business-wise, so I think those kind of things, it's, I think a lot of people don't even know that there's such a thing as a parenting coach. I certainly didn't when... I
was going to say, it's not a very well-known thing. I had never heard of it until now.
Yeah. And I think we reach out for help in our businesses, right? We reach out to say, okay, someone help us with a website.
Yes.
Someone help us with, the technical bits, or
with social media, with this. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you sort of go, yes. And you don't want to reach out for help in raising the next generation. Well,
because that's admitting, though, that you need help and you can't do it yourself. So therein lies the problem for people, is I think that's a big part of ego.
Absolutely.
But yeah, admitting that you need help raising kids. Well, That's a big thing to admit that. And I mean, because you just look back, well, my parents didn't ask for help. Well, you never know. I'm sure they got help from their parents. I mean, as they say, it takes a village to raise a kid, right? So there's nothing wrong with asking for help, but I can see how it would be hard convincing mothers that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. And that needs to be such a big voice out there. And then the support of find the right help for you. Like when my guys were little, I mean, my husband was very supportive and sort of agreed with a lot of, and we learned from each other in terms of raising. But often something isn't sitting right in what you're doing, right? Yeah. Or something you're just like, he doesn't like broccoli. Like, why am I making him have broccoli? Because everyone's saying he has to have broccoli. Da, la, la. And you get stuck on those things.
Yes.
And you go, really? In the big scheme of things, is broccoli going to
He won't eat broccoli? Oh, well. Is he going to die because he won't eat broccoli? No.
Yeah. And it ends up being this twist, like you were saying, but on what is this saying to me? What is my big fear? So I'd be dealing with parents who, when we really come down to the big fear, and I had loads of them. Oh my God, they're going to be homeless, a drug addict. They're going to have no life. They're going to be on the street, right? And and imagine parenting from that place.
No.
And I always thought I was a pretty chilled lady until my two people and feeling like every decision I made was affecting them. And then you were like, bring them into the picture. Then we make the decisions together. Yeah.
I think you got to look at it too, are you willing to die on that hill because the child won't eat broccoli? Come on. Is it really worth it?
And that's what you're saying. That's
your battles,
yeah. And that becomes your ego.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Absolutely.
And I really think if we want to change the world, the way we've been parenting isn't working. Right? Yeah. In the big scheme of things, right? Yeah. Like it's not working. So what can we do to change if we're going to continue to parent as we were raised, which wasn't necessarily bad. No, it's not none of that, right? But like we want to evolve.
Yes.
Then what changes can we make? And it's not about being, well, I'll let my child be wild.
Right. Well, I mean, we can look back on the basics and the fundamentals of our parents and how they parented. But yes, I think certain things, I mean, after so long, some things need to change for sure. But I think the foundation should still remain because, I mean, that's where it all starts, right? But you can change and tweak little things.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I'm kind of a little against the foundation because the foundation is this idea top-down parenting. So the parent is up here and the child is down here. And I think that is actually where a lot of it stems from. Okay. In terms of wanting our children to feel really good about themselves and totally feeling justified in being who they are, their true self, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay in the world.
Yes.
That's okay. Whereas if we are being raised that my mom knows everything and I don't know, and I need my mom in order to help me. I can't figure things out. And as mums, we over-mum. We're right in their faces,
right?
And our kids aren't there to fulfill us. Whereas top-down parenting, you say, my kid's going to be a hockey player, or my kid's going to. You don't get to pick.
Well, what if the kid doesn't want to play hockey?
Yeah, and it's none of your business. You don't get to pick.
No,
right? You get to sort of see help them figure out and work with them.
Yeah, well, see, that's parents living vicariously through their kids, right? Which is a huge problem. I would have to agree with that for sure. They need to have the choice. They need to make that choice. Sure, you can encourage them. Say, hey, son or daughter, why don't you try hockey? Are you interested in this? Would you like to try it? You can suggest it. And if they say no, then so be it. It's no. How about soccer? Or maybe they don't even want to do sport. Would you like to get into the arts? Or as a parent, you make those suggestions, but you don't push them into it.
Well, yeah. And you also, you look at yourself. If you really, really love hockey, go do it. Right? Yeah. If you really, really love, I wish when I was younger I could have, go do it. You can do it as an adult.
Exactly.
And it's this switch round to fulfill yourself.
That's right. That's
right. And then your
not
child
using your kids to do it.
Yeah, because there's so many opportunities. And some kids, I had it too, that they're not that interested in very much.
That's right.
So you know what? Get your own ass in gear. You find out fun things, and they look.
Yes.
And they learn from your own, like, wow, look what my mum did that.
Yeah.
And you talk about it, right? You say, God, I was really scared. I had this experience actually, Brad, that so as my kids are in teens, so I was actually so out my comfort zone, and I auditioned for a part in a play, The Vagina Monologues.
Yep.
You heard of it? Okay. And I have to tell you, it was the biggest fear. It was really horrendous, but I knew I needed to do it. I wanted to do it. And anyway, the struggles of it, learning things. I'm in my 50s. My brain is not working also well, you know, and so out my comfort zone. So, but I would have conversations at home about it. And at one point I said to my son, we were talking just about, I was talking after the fact, why I did it and what. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, it actually really helped me. I realized that you actually are okay either way. He said, you step out your comfort zone, and it's given me a little more information. These are his words, that I'll be okay. I don't have to stay in my safety zone, right? Or safe zone or whatever. I mean, he used different words, but that's the teaching. It's not me saying, now, come on, guys, what can you do out your comfort zone? Come on, we got to be brave. No, you do it. And then the experience is just, they witness and they get to pick it how it works for them, right? That's right.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful as a yoga teacher and as a parenting coach?
My superpower. I think that I have an inherent love of people.
Okay. And
I am very interested in mindset, and I'm quite intuitive to that. And so as a people watcher and observer for many years, I think that that's part of my superpower there. Okay. This love of people and knowing that, you know, there's so many amazing, good people. And I'm more optimistic in that line of things as opposed to I do go sometimes off the other end, right? But I'm compassionate and I'm non-judgmental. And these are things because I've been there, right? And because I've done the work and I'm doing the work and I'm aware of what it takes to be a good human being.
It's a pretty simple concept.
I know.
So many people have such trouble with it.
It's true. Very true, right? You sort of boil it down, right? What is that KISS? Keep it simple, stupid, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's where I lie, you know?
What was a turning point in your life and how did that affect you?
So I think the big turning point for me where was, I don't know if I can do the math in my head yet, but I was coming around to turning 40 within that sort of range, 38 maybe or something. And my husband and I run our own business, a music school. And when my kids were small, I would be at the school and he would be home with them.
Right.
And he's a musician, so he would then go off and gig and whatever.
Yeah.
And the big turning point for me was my daughter was then going to start grade 1. And that would mean that I really wouldn't see her because I was working evenings, right? Up until then, she was just sort of part-time in nurseries and things. And it was partly that, and part of in working at the music school, I was just done with taking care of everybody. And I now see taking care of everybody because I was never taking care of myself. That's right. I had lost who I was. Yeah. So that was sort of a big turning point, which then it was kind of like that time, like, what do I want to do with my life? Like, who am I? Right? Because obviously as kids go to school, they need you a little less, right? And I had so devoted myself to them.
Your whole life was the kids.
Yeah. And poor children, really, like poor kids, because there's some good in that, but there's also like, you know, a lot of baggage comes with that if I'm fully only they are my life, right?
Yes.
Which is not healthy. And so the turning point was then, and then the yoga teacher training came around the same time. So it was all kind of a mission. And so that was a big turning point to find out who am I and what is my passion? Like, what would I like to do next in the world? Yeah.
Okay. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
My best self. Surrounding myself with people who are on similar or a little further along the line in life. I think people that are inspiring, that have overcome things, or who just, enjoy life.
Yeah.
A really good laugh. I can only be around people that are funny. Like a really good laugh can totally just switch your mood and feel open to, right? Yeah, you feel open to life again.
That's right.
And a good cup of tea. I couldn't be British if I wasn't having a good cup of tea.
Exactly. I was just going to say.
That helps me live. But all those three things, fantastic friends, and good laughs, really laughing at yourself, at things, at life. Yeah. I have a kind of wicked sense of humor. So
what would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
The idea that the most important thing, I think, would be that this is my life, right? This is my life. I get to have my life, make the changes and the choices. This is my life.
We are the makers.
Yes, we're steering the ship, right? Yeah. We are that person.
Yeah.
And I think the life after that was that everything started to align up more, or I choose differently when I know that this is my life. I don't have to adapt to this person or that person or make this person happy and at the discomfort of myself. And I did a lot of that, right? As a people pleaser and like, please like me, please like me. There's a realizing like, no, this is me. This is who I am. And making choices around that really changed my life. That's freeing. It's like, whoo, everything is available to me now, and I can make choices and sit with like, okay, some stuff you have to do. I get it, right? Absolutely. Some parts of life where, laundry, cleaning, they all still sit there, right? Yeah. But I do have a choice. I have a choice with my attitude. I have a choice with what energy I bring to the situation, I think that was the biggest life lesson. Like, you get to choose. This is you. This is your life.
Make of it what you will.
Yeah,
no one else is going to do it for you.
No, and they shouldn't, right? They shouldn't. Absolutely. You got to figure it out. Yeah.
That's right. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
I think there's been so many that it was a little tricky to pick. And I think one of them that a yoga teacher had said to me once when I was sort of struggling, say, teaching, and it really relates to all of life, was this idea of just show up fully and completely.
I love it.
Right. And you take it to heart that whatever I'm doing, whoever I'm meeting, at the dentist, at the doctor's, grocery shopping, teaching, coaching, being with people, even with my kids, and then, in the teen years are not so pleasant, I mean, they're just coming out. Thank goodness. No. And that's another whole learning, right? Yeah, after these kids that doted on mommy, and then they're like, you idiot mother, what do you know about things? You old lady. Right? And so this idea of still just show up, open-hearted, and just show up.
That's the funny thing, is that we think as kids that our parents don't know shit and they don't know anything. But believe me, they know a hell of a lot more. They've got the life experience. Not to say that parents know everything, as we talked about before, but they know a hell of a lot more than the kids. Because they've got the life experience. But as a kid, you just say, fuck, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You're just a parent. What do you know?
And the beauty of that is that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
It is supposed to be that, right? It's supposed to be this changing and evolving that we go through a fully self-centered stage. Awesome. Right? Go for it, right? It's just hard on your mommy and daddy hard a little bit when you're like, ooh, why be so rude?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. What is one of your favorite quotes?
The one that, when I read that question, that sort of really came to mind is one that I've been using for a while, and I just read her book from Marie Forleo, and it's this: everything is figure-outable. That is her quote.
Marie Forleo is great.
Yeah. And her book, obviously, I have just read that, but I had heard her on maybe an Oprah show years ago, and had said that, and I thought, gosh, wow. That, again, changes your mindset instantly, right? When you're like, oh, this is hard, or I can't do this, and you go, everything is figure-outable. It just gives you a pause, a chance to breathe, to go, okay, what I'm doing isn't working, so let me try this way, right?
That's right, yeah. Pivot and figure out another solution. Try if that doesn't work, try another one.
Exactly. You know, that's the joy of life, right?
That's
Figuring things out. So, yeah, I love that.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
I think in one word, which we've actually already just spoke about, is freedom. Freedom. This freedom of knowing yourself and cultivating, you know, your inner strength. Mm-hmm. And then freedom then in you being empowered gives you the freedom of choice, the freedom of life, right? Wherever you go, whatever you're doing, there's a freedom to it. You get to pick, you get to choose.
Yeah. How would you define success?
I would define success, actually, sort of empowered success. I guess that's how I sort of looked at it, to words together, being this idea of, I would define success that you have this inner happiness, peace, and joy in everything that you do.
I love that. Inner happiness, peace, and joy. Very simple when you think about it. But so many people struggle. I mean, I think a lot of people automatically associate success with monetary.
Yeah. And I, you know, I like that side too. But,
sure.
But I think that, you know, it's the old adage of this: you could have loads of money and still be pretty miserable.
That's right?
And so unless you've cultivated this sort of inner peace and love and joy about life, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah. What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
As a main thing that came up with this one is that my children got to be born in Canada. That's massive for me. That's
all right.
Yeah.
If you were ice cream, what flavor would you be and why? I like to shake things up. Completely different direction here.
Yeah, I was like, what? Okay, yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. What would I be? I'd have to have I'd be vanilla with nuts, because I am definitely on the nutty scale. And then some real sweet caramel in there. So I don't know if it's got a name, but that's what
it's the Anja flavor.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Anja's ice cream.
That's right. What's one thing people would never know about you just by looking at you?
Other than my nuttiness, I think, what would people not know? So certain things that, like in practical sense, you might not know is that I'm a dog fosterer. I foster dogs through this Just Pause thing.
Very cool.
I also absolutely love, I was teaching for a while, this thing called Shake Your Soul, which is this beautiful way of yoga and dance combination. You might not know that sort of wilder side of me, this freedom of dance and movement. Yeah, those would be sort of two bits that come to mind.
How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered that she showed up and she did her best to make a difference.
Excellent.
Maybe I'll put that on my tombstone. I'll put that out there. That she showed up. She keeps showing up, knocked down, and she gets up again. You know, she showed up.
Well, that's the main thing. You can get knocked down as many times, like 8 times, as long as you get up that 9th time.
Yeah.
You got to just keep getting up.
Yeah. She did her best.
That's it. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I teach this in my teen classes. You are enough.
I love it.
Enough. Yeah. So 3 simple words, right? But
yeah,
you are enough. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be more than. You are enough.
I love that. It's so simple. 3 very simple words, but put together have such strength and power.
And that's the bit that's missing, I think. That's the bit that I know even for myself, being able to look in the mirror and, when my kids were young or whatever, and you feel so unsure of who you are, right? And then this idea that you are enough, that you don't have to, and it bring tears to your eyes at that time, right? Like it felt such a weird thing to really acknowledge that, hey, just me, Anya, doing nothing, contributing nothing. I don't have to prove anything. I am enough, right? I deserve to be here. I am enough. Yeah.
Right. If you could step into my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Ooh. What are you wearing? No. I'm joking. So, what would I would, maybe it's something like, what's new on the horizon? What are you?
Okay. So what's new for you? What's coming down the pike for you then? Tell us.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm in the editing stages of my book about yoga and parenting.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. How yoga changed the way I parented.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Any idea when that will be coming out? A rough idea?
My fingers crossed is by the end of the year. That is my plan. It's been one of those ones that I get into and I do, and then I sort of waver and take on other things. So that would be, I think.
And what's the title of it again?
Well, the title as it stands at the moment.
The editing title, the working title.
Yes, is how, actually I have it here somewhere. Turn sideways on your mat.
Very cool.
How yoga changed the way I parented.
I love it. Well,
thank you. Yeah.
You're listening. Keep an eye out for that. End of the year. Yes.
Fingers crossed.
And lastly, Anja, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like, do you think?
That even when things are crazy, which we all know about right now.
Yes.
There is still space for love, gratitude, joy, and being curious. And laugh every day and find ways to play. I think that would be
beautiful. To the point. Well, thank you so much, Anja, for being here. And again, thank you for being part of my
pleasure
that I'm trying to grow here. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I love the laughs and you sharing your journey and what you do. I think you're an amazing woman, and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much, Brad. I love the same ditto. I love what you're doing too. That is a really powerful force as we realize how strong us women are, right? And you're just
absolutely
amplifying us and empowering us in this way. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. It's always nice to hear that feedback. So thank you. And again, I want to thank you for agreeing to be on the show and help me grow this movement that I'm trying to grow here. So I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Anja Simmons. She is a yoga teacher and parenting coach based right here in Toronto. Thanks again, Anja. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.